Welcome to the French Drainman channel. I'm Robert Sherwood, your host. And ever since we released our soakaway kit, we have been getting so many great questions that I just thought I'd do a video and go over it in more detail. So the problem was when you took your sump pump line or your French drain to a location and you just daylighted it, that high volume of bulk water would just create a muddy mess somewhere on the property. Now, if you don't have a storm drain or a catch basin or something, you know, like a ditch or a creek or stream, lake, you don't have none of that, the soakaway kit is a great alternative. So instead of dumping the water in one area and it just being completely muddy in your yard, now you take it to this manifold. So you plumb it to where all that water goes into this manifold. It's now divided up, so you got 25% of the water going to 4 different chambers. Now the manifold's hooked up to the knife cut. So you can see the knife cut lives up to its name. It just has where a blade, it just has like a cut where a blade just cut it. So what this is going to do in a case like this, it's going to hold that water. It's going to allow that water to travel the whole length of the soakaway field. This is a leach field, soakaway field. Depending on what part of the world you come from, that's what it's intended for. So if we would just hook, say, perforated pipe, like this is our, look at how big the 8-slot yard drain pipe is. So that, if that was hooked up to the manifold, the water would just pour right out immediately. It would just pour right out. It would leave just a big area where the water would just collect, and it wouldn't travel the length of the soakaway. So the knife cut allows it to travel the full distance of your leach field soakaway, okay? And at the end, we just put in the Baughman Tile Company's end plugs. You can see the knife cut. There's no material removed. It's just a cut so that you just have water droplets throughout the entire run, slowly leaching into the subsurface. Now, the reason why we go ahead and put the 8-slot in between all the knife cut, say your soakaway field gets loaded with water. It's the busy, rainy, crazy time of the year for dewatering. We need more chamber. If that's the case, if the knife cut is loaded, it's full to the max, and now your soil for the entire distance, the whole length of the soakaway field, now the soil is saturated. It's not going to take in any more water. You then have the additional chambers. The water will just fill right in the 8-slot. What's great about that, now you can get through that storm, you can get through that rain event. Now you have to build these so you have an overflow valve. So we use one of our flow gates. I usually build these level. Everything kind of, it's one of those things. All systems, there's certain details and elements, certain properties. They lend themselves to a specific way that we have to install stuff. So do know this. The things we teach on this channel, the things we show you on this channel, for example, everybody's like, what's the perfect percent pitch? Oh, I always tell them, 3% on a yard drain in a perfect world. But it's not always achievable. It's not realistic at times. If you got a super long run and you're trying for 3%, well, then you're going to be so deep, it's going to be ridiculous. That's not a reality when it comes to dewatering yards. Now, yes, we have built systems with no slope. Yeah, you can do that too. So, in any case, this soakaway, we typically install it level. So we'll have slope on whatever it is that we're feeding to our soakaway. So whether it's a sump line or a French drain a roof runoff system, whatever we're putting in that manifold to this soakaway kit, we'll have slope on that. But then the soakaway kit itself, we just take 8-ounce fabric and we put that down. Then we lay some stone down. Then we put the pipes on top of that. I take all the dirt from the French drain and I just put it right alongside a level soakaway field, okay? Welcome to the French Drain Man channel. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and I want to talk about leach fields. Probably one of the hardest projects for a DIY, and most contractors can't even wrap their brain around it. So if you have to watch this video a couple of times or ask, some questions in the comment section, by all means, we're going to get you there. So I had a home that had a sump pump discharge line, and it would flood out the front yard. So I proposed to the homeowner, let's build a leach field to take all this water to. Now, a leach field is pretty much level. You build it level, you want it to contain the water, and you want to build the leach field so that you have a lot of chamber. So the more chamber, the more water you can contain. And then you need to design a spillover or a spillway. Literally just a pop-up on the end of one of the fingers is all you need. In the event that, you're seeing so much rain and your sump pump's running all the time, or maybe this is for your, French drain. It could be for your yard drain. Okay, so this is really important. Look at all the dirt, how we're not hauling it away. We're literally putting it on the side of the leach field. This is so that we can blend it into the lot. This is going to contain the water. You're building a containment area for the water. That way, it could take however long it takes for it to leach into the subsoil, and it's not going to be a problem. It's not going to be standing water in the front yard for this gentleman anymore. So you can see Francisco swinging the track hoe. He's stacking all that dirt. We're not going to take it. We need it all. We're going to fill this with pipe and stone, and then we're going to cover it with some dirt. But mostly we just want to have a dam all the way around our leach field. There is an area, I call it a spillway. It's just so that when you reach full, you have an area designed in the system that will let excess water escape in the event that you're under so much rain through a really, really bad stretch that the ground can't keep up with it. Your leach field can't keep up with it, basically. You don't want to create a situation where the water backs up and now you have a full yard drain system or perhaps a full sump pump discharge line, just backfeeding. The water's not, able to go anywhere once the leach field is full. So that's why you need, a pop-up on the end of one of the chambers, a spillway. So set up a string level. That's very important. Why do you need a string level? You buy a string level. It's literally $1 or $1.99, and you go ahead and you pound 2 pieces of re-rod in the ground, and you make sure that that string level, which is a bubble, the bubble is center. Now you can build the dam around the leach field, and you could hit all the elevations right spot on. That way you're not wasting the dirt, because you really need all the spoils that you're excavating out for your leach field for your dam. Okay, so you want to make sure you buy knife cut. You want knife cut for your chambers. It'll hold the water and let it slowly leach into the subsoil. But I do have a trick that I don't have on video, but I'm going to describe it so that you can clearly understand. So here's the manifold, and here's the knife cut. Knife cut doesn't have any material removed. It's just exactly what the name indicates, it looks like a knife just cut some slits in the pipe. So when the water loads in these chambers, it'll slowly dissipate into the subsoil, won't overwhelm the subsoil. But in between the knife cut, if you have a very active sump pump, or your yard really floods bad, you're going to want to put some 6-inch with the material ground out. So you want the perforated 6-inch. And all you have to do is buy the Baughman tile end plugs for 6-inch. So you're essentially creating more void. If you see the knife cut right now, you see the 4 chambers. Picture putting pipe in between each one of those chambers. You're adding 3 more, and you want it to be perforated. That way you create these giant voids, more chamber, because stone fills in the voids. Now, this sump pump system doesn't run very much. This house doesn't have a real active sump pump, so I know I'm fine just the way we're building it. But most of the time, we would put perforated pipe in between the knife cut, so there would be way more void than what this leach field is built for. I wasn't containing very much water here, so what you see is all I needed. Some of the other techniques are a longer leach field. If you have the room and the property, the more water you need to contain, the bigger the leach field. So we use the 8-ounce fabric in our leach fields. So there's 8-ounce fabric in here. Then we put our manifold in. We use our super sticky, super stretchy FDM tape, and we tape our connections from the sump pump line to the manifold. Once you get your pipe and stone in, you can go with 8-ounce fabric again. And if you're in the north like we are, you can put straw over top of it. This will prevent it from freezing, and it really does work. And the fact that it's going to get covered with dirt, it doesn't decompose like people think. It actually stays in that ground for many, many, many years to come. I've dug up old leach fields and couldn't believe the condition the straw was in. So I didn't get a really good shot of our spillway, but our spillway is built into a ditch bank. So we lucked out on this job. To keep the gentleman's yard from flooding out, we had nice slope to our leach field, but that was it. The water would have just stayed in the front yard and it wouldn't make it into the ditch at all. So then we built our leach field, and then we built the dam all the way around it. Very important. That dam is key. And then you have to have an overflow. Somehow you build it in. A spillway, a pop-up on the end of one of the chambers. It's that simple. Don't overthink it. Now, sure, during the rainiest times of the year, the system will be overwhelmed, and you're going to end up having water come out of the overflow. No big deal. But for the rest of the year, for 90% of the year, you're going to be fine. It's just that 10% where the leach field will be overwhelmed. So if you think of it this way, 90% of the year, your yard is not going to be muddy. It's going to be nice and dry because the leach field is going to contain all the water. I just put it all the way around. Now you go ahead and you put stone over top of this. Here's the beauty. You use the cheapest stone your money can buy. I don't care what part of the world you live in. You don't need washed rock. It doesn't need to be screened. It's a soakaway field. Get the cheapest stuff you can find. Now, somebody said in the comment sections, isn't this going to be a mushy? No, because you got stone underneath it. You got stone on top of it. Then you put 8-ounce fabric on top of it. Then you go ahead, and after you build up dirt here and build up dirt here, so now you got a place to put your spoils when you're doing your French drain. Then you go ahead and you put a sandy loam. What is a sandy loam? Sandy loam is topsoil sand mix. I like 50% topsoil, 50% sand, and I put that on top. So this is going to evaporate as well as leach. So this soakaway is elevated. You know, you don't dig a hole for it. And if you can't gravity drain to your soakaway, you put in one of our sump systems. We show you guys all this, and I know every property is unique, so you're trying to watch all these videos and tie this all into your property. I get it. So that's why there's so many videos trying to give you guys whatever it is you need. But make sure right here, so you build up with your spoils on both sides of the soakaway, but make sure right here you have the dirt shaped to where this flow gate, when this hits full, you want it to be able to escape. So there's gonna be that rare time, the wettest time of the year, those couple really wet weeks, where the soakaway kit is not going to be able to keep up or handle all the stormwater. That's okay, as long as it corrects for 90% of the season, 90% of the 365 days in the year, that you don't have this high concentration of water dumping somewhere and leaving that portion of your yard and property unusable, or a place for the kids and the dog to get all muddy. All right, everybody, I hope this clears things up on our soakaway kit, and until that next video.